Without a doubt, southern Indiana is a wild place, much different than the rest of the state. Among the hills and deep hollows are places that are virtually untouched, uncivilized, and filled with wildlife. We have wild turkeys, buzzards, deer, coyotes, bobcats, and even an occasional black bear. There are various dangerous reptiles, such as rattlesnakes, copperheads, and snapping turtles that want a piece of you. We also have rare things like hellbenders. It's about as exotic as it gets. We have forest and wildlife refuges, places to see wildlife by chance encounter. But it's nice to have places a little more tame, accessible, and where you're guaranteed to see animals. To that end, we also have zoos and public farms, where animal sightings are a whole lot easier and ideal for families. Let's hit the road in search of where the wild things are. Most people have no idea that there's a zoo in southern Indiana. And yet, Mesker Park Zoo and Botanic Gardens has been around nearly 100 years, opening in 1928. To be absolutely clear, there's a lot of walking to do. It has a few places that will remind you that there are muscles on the back of your legs. For an additional fee, there's a tram tour. And if you spent all winter watching Netflix and ordering Domino's, you might wish you'd paid a little extra. You can also rent strollers and motorized scooters. These amenities make the park accessible for everyone. I chose to walk clockwise around the park, starting with the penguins. I don't know anyone that hates penguins. Maybe I wouldn't want to. Shake that tail feather that your mama gave you. You will then embark on an avenue of much walking, with many stops along the way. You may find enclosures, and for the life of you, can't see any animals. Some of that is genuine vacancy, and the other is just really good camouflage. After all, these are animals and built to survive. There is a very nice carousel, and a place for adults to take a break, with vending machines and shade. There's a winding walk to the big bird cage, and you'll be offered birdseed. Inside are some adorable birds. You just cannot be afraid of them flying around. Birds do that. Theoretically, they can decorate your shirt, but it was not my day. Next stop was the Enchanted Forest, where a variety of small animals can be found, such as these big butt porcupines. They seem all fun and games until they view you as a threat and spike you with the needles on their back. They're a looky, not a touchy. Nothing to see here, just a parrot living his best life. Along the way are kid-friendly diversions, such as the canopy climb. I exceeded the height limit for fun again. Feel free to stand behind the bat diorama for a picture. This place is about making memories. you'll see some kind of primates with Bon Jovi jackets. The reforestation is code for a winding path with plants. There's even a hidden place to sit in the shade. Everyone says that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. This guy disagrees. Out on the prairie, they keep the grazing animals. Voted most likely to take a nip at you when you're not looking. Who doesn't love a goofy looking camel? When I think about all the cartoons I saw as a kid, this is exactly what I expected a camel to look like. Tigers are masters of camouflage, making this sign necessary. For a fact, I didn't see one. I can only wonder if I was being played. Yeah, of course you have a tiger. Here's the uphill walking part I was talking about. In mild weather, not bad. Hot enough to make breakfast on a car dash, not so much. There are many side adventures along the way. In this case, it led to animals that I could not see. But hey, let's hit an air-conditioned building. This is where the big rhino chills out. And here's a fun fact. Many academics believe that this is what scholars in the 1600s meant by a unicorn. Unicorn literally meaning one horn. If the rhino isn't inside, it's out here at the Rhino Reserve. You can't blame a guy for liking air conditioning. As you walk along the property, you'll see signs where the tram boards. This is also known as the place of many regrets that you didn't buy a ticket. From a distance are the zebras, arguably the meanest horse in Africa, a very far cry from the one we knew from the Juicy Fruit commercials. I'll probably say this wrong, but I'm sure someone will correct me. The Klee Memorial Zoo building has many exhibits in a wonderful air-conditioned atmosphere. You're probably thinking I'm making too big of a deal about that, but come here when it's 90 degrees and high humidity. Yeah, you will thank me. Up next is Komodo Cove, where a huge lizard is lurking among the foliage. They might look like cute puppies with scales, but they are legit hazards to your health. Not only are they great runners, they can outright cash your life insurance policy with just a few bites. And if that doesn't get you, the bacteria in their mouth will make you septic. And then another lizard cousin. Natives of Mesoamerica, iguanas are taking over more and more of Florida, like retirees with a good 401k. For the next exhibit, I will propose a warning. Not because of any dangerous animal, but if you're over 50, you might not see anything and walk into a wall. It's pretty dark in here. Luckily, my camera sees a lot better than I do. I used it to get around like a Navy SEAL with night vision. Giraffes are my favorite thing here. You can even feed them, and they will not pass up a free snack, kind of like me. And here's a fun fact. Males will slap females on the neck until they pee, just to see if they're ovulating and ready to make babies. Humans do the exact same thing, except they just go to fancy restaurants and try to make a good impression with her parents. On the hill is the Discovery Center. On the day I visited, I didn't see many animals in the building. I tend to think that many of them went outdoors. Or as the conspiracy theorists like to say, that's what they want you to think. Another no-show. Creepy dead insects on your left. Hey look, a red panda. Not a lot of socializing with this one, but then again, maybe he went through 5 school buses of little kids, all of them saying, "Hey look, a raccoon." It turns out that this is where the indoor animals were hanging out. This is the primate version of sitting on the patio and talking about upgrading the kitchen. Now this is an interesting piece of history. This is known as the Gilmore-Haynes monkey ship. Made completely out of concrete in 1933, it was once surrounded by water, and rhesus monkeys were added to the ship as a fun exhibit. It's a 1/3 scale replica of Christopher Columbus's Santa Maria ship. Because who doesn't want a concrete ship filled with insane monkeys that throw stuff? I know I do. Oh yes, more walking. I was glad I went early in the season and wore the ugly but comfortable shoes. Probably the best advice I can give you. On your right is a pond. You'll likely see turtles hanging out on a log. I would say that's silly, useless behavior to sit around doing nothing productive, but then again, I use Facebook. A little further, and you'll find a pleasant garden in the shade. You can take a rest, buy a soft drink, and use the binoculars to spy on animals. At the zoo, it's called wildlife appreciation. In your neighborhood, it's called creepy, and the police may show up. In the distance is Amazonia, a recreated rainforest underneath a canopy of steel and glass. In this enclosure, I saw nothing but those quote-unquote hiding animals. But inside is a cool walk through the jungle, and perish the thought, animals you can actually see. The theming is awesome, like something Disney would dream up. You'll see the world-famous piranha, peaceful-looking fish with razor-sharp teeth, capable of making short work out of a cow. Lots of movies depict them as vicious man-eaters, but unlike Hannibal Lecter, humans aren't their first choice. I'm still not sticking my hand in the tank. There are places to sit and take it all in. The place opens up, showing us a small river with occupants of the Amazon rainforest. Many birds from what I could see. If you look in the corner, you can see Pumbaa catching a snooze. you'll find an education lab and tanks of fish. If I was a millionaire, I wouldn't tell anyone, but there would be signs, like having my very own rainforest that I can enjoy in February. Here behind a cage, these are pretty cool to look at. But can you imagine coming home from work and seeing one of these in your living room? Like they say, location, location, location. Mesker Park Zoo at Evansville, Indiana. Good exercise, a nice laid out park, and some very well camouflaged animals. Located just west of downtown Paoli is an exotic animal preserve. At Wilstem Wildlife Park, you can go on an African safari without ever leaving your car. This is an impressive place, and the only one of its kind in southern Indiana. The trail winds across many acres of backcountry. You drive through several wildlife environments and see a variety of exotic animals, some of which you may have never seen before. And it all starts at the big yellow sign. If you want, you can also buy feed at the gate and give the animals a snack. Just be advised, these guys have no concept of personal space, and some of these animals are large, very large. Such as these camels and ostrich. Most will move if you get close enough. Sometimes they'll move for you, and sometimes you just have to go around them. If it's a warm, sunny day, look under the trees for animals resting underneath. This place has a lot of emus, one of the tallest birds on Earth. They average around 5 feet tall. They all expect a snack, and some will wait patiently for you to come to them. About midway, it gets fairly steep. Take your time, stay on the road, don't run over animals. More emus. And here's a fun fact. In 1932, the Australian military tried to hunt down emus that were destroying crops. It's what's now called the Emu War. The emus proved to be very fast runners, hard to shoot at a distance, and eventually, the emus won. How many places have you been where you've seen an emu in your rearview mirror? What in the nightmare fuel is this? Just imagine if this thing would stand up on its back legs. How's my camo? Can you see me? I feel invisible. For a fact, these animals have it pretty great. Free snacks all day long. Some might say to themselves, wow, what a huge creature. Yet others might say, I wonder if my policy covers damage caused by animals with horns. When you get to the bison area, it's time to roll up the windows. These are not playful, cuddly cows with big heads. This is a rare white buffalo. Native Americans thought they had magical powers. For a fact, they have the power to take out a minivan if they want to. Then there are the zebras. A lot like horses, but meaner. People have tried to train them for riding, but they usually end up attacking the trainer and are too unpredictable. For those that can climb on a wagon, an up-close and personal safari tour is also offered. Included in the safari admission is the Ruse and Crew Encounter Barn, with everything from monkeys to a giraffe. You can buy food to feed the animals, and here's where the memories are made. How many places can you go to and feed a giraffe? It is absolutely huge and unbelievably graceful. And here's a fun fact. Giraffes are only about 2 feet shorter than a Tyrannosaurus Rex dinosaur. Although the safari was great, this was really the highlight for me. Being this close to a creature this gigantic. Video does not capture how big and majestic it really is. You can get safari tickets online or at the base camp building. Also offered are individual encounters with elephants and grizzly bears. You heard right. Inside you can find both restrooms and a gift shop. Wilstem Wildlife Park is an awesome experience and a true gem of southern Indiana. Visit their website for more details. Throughout southern Indiana are many smaller opportunities to interact with and learn about animals. At Scottsburg, Indiana, is a place called Goat Milk Stuff. It's a functioning goat farm where you can not only buy items made from goat milk, but get up close and personal with the goats themselves. It's said that people that have issues with cow's milk won't with goat's milk, and many other benefits are celebrated. But maybe the biggest benefit is feeling connected to nature, something that we've lost. You'll find that Indiana state parks have nature centers, such as at Brown County State Park. It has a variety of great displays. But what impressed me the most was the bee exhibit. From birth They seemingly know what they're supposed to do. They have clear purpose and do it for the rest of their life without question. I envy them. McCormick's Creek State Park has one of the bigger nature centers. With not only snakes and turtles, but a description of bats, as caves are in the park. Spring Mill State Park has 2 floors of exhibits and a birdwatching area. A big deal is made out of bats, as Spring Mill has the most caves in any state park and a healthy population of bats. There's an area downstairs for wildlife education, many hands-on exhibits, including a snapping turtle. Clifty Falls State Park has a focus on wildlife surrounding the many waterfalls, some of the largest in the state. You'll see the usual suspects of snakes, fish, turtles, and taxidermied animals. A birdwatching station, but also a film to familiarize you with the park and its biodiversity. At Patoka Lake, I experienced a few interesting things. One was an albino snapping turtle. The other was a bald eagle's nest, although a model, unbelievably big enough for 2 adult people. But down by the Ohio River is a hidden farm inside O'Bannon Wood State Park. I'd bet money that most people have never heard of it, leaving it an attraction that's virtually never busy. Starting at the Nature Center, you'll learn about southern Indiana's biodiversity. You'll see many taxidermy specimens, as well as live ones. If you're not into snakes, avoid the displays to the left of the entrance. They have both benign and venomous varieties. There's a birdwatching area, and a collection of butterfly specimens. But outside is the highlight, a pioneer village and farm. In the 1800s, having large animals was as common as owning a dog or cat. They say we've come a long way, but have we really? Just being among the animals is calming in a way that a smartphone never will be. Maybe animals are more than just a curiosity and have a lesson to teach us. It's not the busy life that makes it all worthwhile, but the quiet moments where we actually heard ourselves breathe.